Hey guys, sorry for the delay. It is Maria Park and my good friend Eloy from The Turnout, who should be simul streaming on his channel.
Yo,
Hopefully, if not, user error, technical difficulties. I'm trying. I'm
it
old. Bear
worked
with
last
me.
time.
It did work last time. I just don't know what's happening today, but it's all good. So disclaimers, guys. We really, really, really love the fact that you guys were in here already. I'm gonna give you props because it looks like you've been in here for a while. That is awesome. So
Yeah.
we appreciate it. We love our fellow Charmed lovers, and we love that you support us. So that is amazing. And then a personal shout out. Thank you, Every Wizard Way Generation One, for saying that you actually kind of like love me because your mom's name is Maria. I respect that. It's a good name. Um,
I like the name as well. It's not my mom's name or anything, but
Hey,
I
it's good
like
enough for West Side Story. I'm just saying.
it.
All right, so we did our individual reviews on Charmed season 3, episode 3, which is technically the season 2 finale. That's what we're calling it, season 2 finale. So essentially, season 3 of Charmed does not start until this Sunday.
I'm kind of on the fence about that. I think that they're doing a pretty good job of wrapping up new things and wrapping up old things, introducing new things, and not making it seem like it's just entirely a brand new season. It looks like it's just rolling right over into the next, thing. So I'm hoping that it doesn't. I think we had said that before. Like we didn't want like a clean delineation, and they seem to be giving us that. So like I'm okay with just like the big bad and the sources in the tree and all the junk. So all the big things are done, but I don't know. It is technically the end of season 2, though. Yes, I'm being contrary for no reason. Continue.
I do wish that we were in the writers' room. I really wonder, because COVID shut them down before they could finish the season, what they thought. Like, were they like, we got to wrap this up. We can't make us look desperate, So what do we do? But I will say, and I know we're talking about episode 3, but let's talk about the preview for episode 4. Like Maggie's got the curls, and I love the curls. I'm a curly girl. It doesn't look like it. I've got curly hair. I really do. But I mean, she just did a 180 in looks and style. Like she almost looks like a completely different person in that trailer.
Well, I mean, hell, even in this episode, her hair was looking like 1,000 times better than it did in that other episode.
Because Ethan was gonna call it out. I saw you in your review. I just started laughing. I'm like, I was thinking when I was doing mine, I'm like, I won't mention the hair because I know that the turnout will.
I mean, I have to though. I have to. And actually, no. You know what? I don't have to. I am not a fashionable person. I am not somebody who has really any right to point it out, except that was even below my standard in that one episode. But she's back up to normal now, so like I was good.
Yeah, so we're and then before we jump right into our hard theories and talking about the show, let's talk about some comments on our reviews. I just gotta say this, guys. Gotta clear the laundry, gotta throw out the trash. So me and Eloy both got like, come at. I mean, you came for us, which is fine. It's fine. I think yours was over what you said about Maggie in your review, and mine was what I said about Macy's comment about how she really didn't, ever feel like she wasn't alone and in anything until she met Harry. And and I was I had somebody like literally on my comment say, "You are a difficult reviewer." I was like, So I just gotta say, because I love you guys. We love, even if you have a different opinion, if you have a different theory, if you don't agree with anything we say at any point in that review, we ain't mad at you. We ain't mad. I'm just saying. But what I'm gonna throw out there is, please don't take this personally, guys. I love Charmed. I love everything about these characters. It is an imaginary show. It's imaginary. At the end of the day, these people are not real. You don't believe me? Go look at their Instagrams. They have their own lives. They have their own families. They are not related. It's fine. And Macy is not going to put a hit out on me because I don't like what the writers made her say. Just like with Eloy and Maggie.
Yeah, well, and there are those. I mean, there in every community there are people who enjoy the thing and then there are people who like to take it too far.
Yeah.
I would say that that's not necessarily the thing that happened in my case. The person who, but also, so my review was what was about 35 minutes, and I talked about Maggie for about 2 minutes, but the person apparently just could not after. I'm like, there's 33 other minutes of me talking. You just didn't like one thing I said and you just turned it off. It was weird. So, but my whole thing was, I'm sticking up for Jordan. Anybody who knows me knows I'm here for Jordan. Like, yes,
Jordan.
I know it's Charmed. It should be called Charmed and Jordan. Like, that's what the name
Jordan's Angels or
Jordan's Angels. So, but what ended up happening was in my review, I was like, he's trying to sit down and have a serious conversation with Maggie, and Maggie ain't having it. And to one point where she cuts him off, and I found that very rude. And everybody's like, oh, but she doesn't mean to be rude. She just doesn't. I'm like, there's two people in the conversation. One of them wants to talk. The other one's cutting the other one off. I don't care what the reasoning behind that is. From Jordan's point of view, that's rude as hell. Yeah. So I took it as rude, and the people were coming at me. They're like, I can't believe you're just disregarding Maggie's growth. And I'm just like, I mean, her growth is okay, but you know who I love his growth? Jordan.
Her growth was okay. All right. But Jordan, well, to me, Jordan was kind of a heavy hitter coming out the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, to be real. I mean, he really has. He hasn't really changed his morals and his, standards the entire time, since they introduced him in season 2. Yeah. I like Jordan. My comment was just shit or get off the pot. I need Maggie to make up her effing mind, because I get what she's doing. I get that they have it in their mind that apparently nobody can have a relationship except for Macy. That's what everybody's saying, right? It's like, we can't have successful relationships, so why bother? Just push people away because they're just going to get hurt or die. That's literally what I keep hearing, that at least with Mel and Maggie, whenever they talk about relationships and not being able to find anyone. So I know that's why Maggie's pushing Jordan away, but I do agree. He was really trying to express his feelings. He was in the moment a lot. Right. And he was kind of like, oh, well, let's go this way. I'm like, let's go with Star. I like Star.
And like once is good, twice, okay, you're pushing it. Third time, and you're going to just cut me off? Like, come on now. Like, at least the other time she changed the subject very slyly. But then that third time, it was just like, I really want to talk. Hey, that star up there? Like, that doesn't even have anything to do with what I'm talking about. Wait a minute.
No, I do love when she's like, how much money you got? I'm like, exactly what I've been saying. I think we've both been saying this from the effing beginning. They don't have jobs. They don't have security cards. They don't have money. I mean, Magic don't pay the bills. I mean, of course, you don't have to pay the bills in your imaginary house that follows you around, I guess. But, it keeps its own lights on. So that's cool.
Exactly.
We had that. All right. So episode 3.
So that was a fun tangent.
It was. I gotta get the laundry and the trash out at the same time. I mean,
I do want to state that this is not going live on my channel currently, but what we will do is then after this, Maria will send me the file. I'll post it up on my channel after this, so it'll be there, but it just won't be live on my channel. So
yeah, I don't know why it's not doing that, but again, that is a user error, and I am so sorry because I don't know what's happening with this thing. I just don't, but I'm gonna fix it. So. Anyway,
so we should talk about the issue, the episode as a whole now, and not just what people came at us for. So
yes, we need to talk about all of it, and it doesn't have to be in order, but there were just things that were interesting. Let's talk about Ruby. What did you think about that? The fact that
I thought it was kind of lame, but that's just me. I'm actually not a huge like Mel Ruby shipper. And again, I think we had talked about this before. It's because Ruby came in so late in the second season as a replacement for Kat, and for me, the depth of their relationship seems to be very told to us, but I don't see it.
Yeah, it's very rash. It's very, very quick.
And it's very quick. So like for me, it's just like I mean, great that Ruby felt that way for Mel, and she was there when she was a grandmother and bringing her grandkids and stuff. I mean, that's sweet and all. But I don't know. The Ruby as a whole seems off to me with just how much they're putting on her and Mel when she came in. Like, I think we've had her for like, what, 6 episodes at this point? Like, it's not even that much.
Yeah, like, I think that she started as like a sports nut. I think they were watching soccer or something, or it was some game.
Yeah.
They were, and Mel was sleeping over, and apparently Ruby has a ton of roommates. And she was a one night stand that turned into a 12 night stand that kind of turned into I guess at some point it became a relationship. Then it became kind of like, in a way splintered because of her telling Mel, I don't want to be a witch.
Yeah.
And we never really understood like where they were from there. And then all of a sudden in this season, it's like Ruby's like, I don't want to lose you. And I'm like, when did we get from here to like casually being together?
I think they addressed that. They were like, we still have that connection, but Ruby's like, we have the connection, but my opinion has not changed. Like, I am still not interested in being in the witch world, but I still care about you. And I'm like, you know what? I get that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, but I wish we had seen more of the conversation. Like, that's the thing. We're just made to assume that they've had these deep talks.
Yeah, it was totally off screen. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, to be real, that's pretty much Mel's whole life. It's totally off screen at this point. She's like a background character in her own series.
Well, but that's the thing. Honestly, I think probably going in now to the proper, next season episodes and stuff, I think it's going to maybe get rebalanced a bit, and hopefully we'll be able to focus more on the sisters, on the relationships. That's, because that's what we're really there for, except now I'm there for Jordan. You're
there for Jordan. You are Team Jordan, and I'm glad that his new BFF is Team Abby, because I am Abby Mel. I'm an Abby Mel shipper. Yeah, I've never, made any bones about it. In every review, you will hear me say, I want them to eventually get together. To me, it's so weird how they take from the OG Charmed. Like, I think someone else said this in a comment. Abby reminds me of Cole, in the beginning, and then now in the end, because if you think about what happened at the end of this episode, where she like gets this yellow smoke out of that creepy little wooden doll and looks in the mirror, and she's got like the demon head. I'm like, that's exactly the stuff that happened with Cole, only he became the source. And so I hate that they're doing this, because it's so wishy-washy to me. At least with Cole, we saw him actively fighting his demon side. He was like, I'm half human. I need to really, reach out and say, hey, I want to be with Phoebe. I need to do this to be with Phoebe. So I got to suppress that darker side.
Yeah.
Abby has been like on the, she's been on the up and up that, she embraces her demon side. She has problems with her witch side because of her mother and sister. And if that letter is any indication, I mean, they don't seem like great people, but we don't know the story there either. So to be fair, I don't know what happened in their house. But if the mother, as Abby has said in the past, and told Mel in season 2, if the mother was really and truly against her demon side, which then why did you have a relationship with a demon unless you were tricked? I'm just saying, and have a kid. But if she was really suppressing that and like basically making Abby feel like she wasn't even her daughter, I can see why Abby's like that. But I hate this.
I mean, I'm definitely Team Abby. I was team, I guess I was team new characters in the second season, because I love Jordan and I actually really do love Abby. And I've always hearkened Abigail to not Cole. I guess Cole actually does fit, but I've always thought that she's very much a Loki kind of character.
She is.
She's the person who is evil, kinda, but also is pretty helpful, and you have aligning goals, so you're gonna work with them, but then they're gonna probably try to backstab you, but then you're gonna get over that anyway, and then you're just gonna go back to normal. And it's like it's kind of just that more antagonistic rivalry kind of relationship as opposed to enemy. And that's that's what Loki does.
She was a frenemy. Yeah, she's more like a frenemy, because an enemy doesn't help you at all. Abby is always helping them, and they treat her like crap. And Harry, and I love Harry. I wanted to smack the living hell out of him. I was so mad when he was like, well, you will help us, or not only will the magical world die, you'll die too. And I'm like,
Yeah.
This woman
No,
just
no, no.
told you that
In
she
my notes,
up Ash.
in my notes, I literally wrote Harry isn't trusting Abigail. I said screw you, Harry, in my notes.
Yep. I mean, heck, I will play Abigail. I've even said this in season 2. I think it's episode 8. Check my numbers, but I'm pretty sure Harry kissed Abby. Harry flirted with Abby. You know, Harry told Macy, "Hey, go live your life, girl. I'm gonna go over here." And now all of a sudden, you're like, "You want to trust her after all the lies and deceit?" All right.
I mean,
all right.
He didn't say it that suave. He didn't say, "Go live your life, girl." You know, he didn't.
I tried to give him some.
No. I'm saying it was great how you did it. That's just not how Harry did it. Harry's like, "You should go live your life." You know,
No.
I do terrible accents, so don't even bother with me. So no, but that's the thing, right? So, and that was something I did say it in my review, but I said screenwriting 101 is the moment that you have every character say the same thing, you are setting up the viewer.
Yep.
So when Harry said, "I don't know if we can trust her," Jordan says, "I don't know if we can trust her." Maggie says, "I don't know if we can trust her." Macy says, "I don't know if we can trust her." I'm like, so there's 2 things that are going to happen in this episode. Either one, she's going to go full tilt demon and give them a reason to not trust her, or the big sacrifice they're talking about is going to be her proving them wrong. There's only 2 ways you can play that in a script. So I knew one of those 2 was going to happen. I didn't know which one, obviously, watching it, but I knew it was only going to go in one direction.
Yeah. And you were right, because now, and what makes me so upset about this is that you can't have a character that's almost evil, that does really bad things, but then does a lot of redeeming things. And when we left it in season 2 was actually on the path of debating, embracing her half, which side, and then turn around and make her pathetic, drinking beer and eating cold pizza in her place. And then all of a sudden, I'm a demon again. Now nobody will stop me. I'm like, you know what? This is bad writing. I'm sorry. That is bad character development. You need to have an outline on your characters. You need a journal, and you need to decide what this character's, motivation is, where they're going from point A to point B. And if this is their path, then why the hell is she still helping the Charmed Ones? And I guarantee you, in this season, Abby probably will end up coming to the aid of the Charmed Ones again, even fully evil, because they can't decide what to do with her.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like she was on a path. She was on a path of being nicer. Is what I'll say. And even when Jordan came to her, like, she actually offered her assistance first. And then he said, "Oh, I guess I'll never be able to repay you." And she's just like, "Oh no, you will." But it was after the fact. She had already given him the book and had already helped him before. And then he said, "I owe you one." She's like, "Oh, do you now? Great." Yeah, so she wasn't even asking for things up front.
Exactly. And when you see her looking at the book, she's like, "Oh, here I go again, doing somebody else's favor." It's like,
But the moment that you have the Charmed Ones and Harry come and start antagonizing her to make her do the thing, threatening her essentially, like, not necessarily like, "We're going to beat you up," but like, "Hey, you have to do this," not, "Please do this for us because we love you," or, like how they would treat any other human, any other person. But in her case, it's, "You better do this now or you're going to die." And then it was just like, and then of course, then being rejected by the other side of her family. And like, she is literally alone. So why shouldn't she just embrace the darkness and be like, "Well, I guess I'm just going to just do me now."
And the Charmed Ones, I mean, look at the time she spent with Mel. She saved Mel twice. She didn't have to. Yep. She could have left Mel in that prison. She could have left her in her apartment. She could have just teleported out and been like, "All right, I'm out." Because, they Ubered there. I remember that. My problem with that is they had this bonding moment. They were talking at the bar and then she disappears. But now it's like, "Mel, do you really trust Abby?" "No, I don't think so," basically. But we need her help.
I think Mel was the only one who did. Mel was the only one who did.
Going forward. But I will say the comment where Celeste is like, you need a timekeeper, somebody who, is emotionalist and doesn't care. And like, and then here's Mel.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I did like that though.
I know you did. Really,
I like that because she was just like, yeah, I really don't care. But then she showed that she cared. She showed that she cared when they were in the future, though.
Yeah,
that's the whole
but,
thing.
like, he was telling her to stay in the future to live out her life. Like, don't go back. You could stay here. And when she found Mel's grave, she looked sad, realizing that Mel was going to die that day.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. But that's not what we see. We only see that she can't be trusted and she's no good.
Yeah.
Let me
we should probably have some sort of structure to this, or are we just gonna we're just gonna forego structure? Is that what we're doing?
Structure. I mean, there's no structure in the plot, Eloy. Let me give a shout out to ATN co-host, one of the hardest women that I know, Miss Quarter Life Jam. I see you in here talking about cold pizza helps with hangovers. I love you. And then Nyleave. I don't trust Abby after she tried to kill Macy and then actively going after Harry to make Macy jealous. Now, my beginning reviews, I used to think she was trash. So. But then I really started looking at how they treated her, because don't forget, Nyleave, that Harry was flirting actively flirting with her and was kissing her of his own accord. And she didn't even, like, at the beginning, he was going after her because he felt like he didn't have a shot with Macy, and Macy was doing the whole thing with Julian. And so I kind of feel like, honestly, it is what it is. Natalie said, no, you didn't say no structure in the plot. I said it.
What I will say too is that Mel, I think, was my hero this episode.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because she was just like, oh, I gotta die. Okay. Everyone else really seemed like they were struggling. Like Maggie's like, I don't know if I'm gonna die. This is so. And Macy's like, no, I have to do it because I'm the oldest. And Mel's like, nope, I'll do it. Bye. Like it's just.
It's the way she was like, nah, it's not either of you. It's me. I've seen my grave.
It's me.
It's all good.
Grab You're still talking. You're still thinking you're going to convince me. Bam! I already got it. I'm already there.
Well, and then think about it this way. I actually worry about her because she's so willing to sacrifice herself, because this is not the first time she's done this. I mean, when Celeste put them all in the dream world, she was the first one that says, oh, I'll just die for her. It's just like your life is just so easy to throw away. Don't worry, I will die for them. And I'm like, man, what's wrong, Mel? What is going on? I feel like in season 1, when she had to cast that spell on Nico, it's like, and her life changed and she became a bartender. It's almost like she just gave up, you know?
Yeah, I think that she is ready to die. I think is what it is.
She's like, what's the point? Yeah. You know? And like, I just think about, speaking of relationships, so we're going to move past Abby. I know I love to talk about Abby, but we'll be here all day. The sisterhood. So I'm still having a lot of problems. I'm having the same problems I had in the beginning, guys. I love this show. I love these characters, but the sisterhood exists between two sisters, but two separate groups of sisters. Yeah. And both of them involve Maggie. Like, we have Mel and Maggie, and then we have Macy and Maggie, but we do not have Mel and Macy. We don't have Mel, Maggie, and Macy. That is the problem. That is a problem for me. And so, like, the scene where, you know, they're all like trying to help Mel stay alive, you know, and of course, you know, we saw Maggie put her hand in first, and then Macy did it. And Macy's like, hold on. And she had like this look of concern, but I'm like, it doesn't flow with the rest of the treatment. Like, you guys don't talk really. You half-ass talk to each other. You don't communicate at all. And it just really bothers me. And this has been from the beginning. And I know a lot of people will say it's because when, you know, Macy first showed up at the house and said, I think I'm your sister. And Mel was like, I don't have time for this. And, you know, went off.
That is kind of true.
It is. But I will tell you this. As a woman of color, if some woman came to my house, and my mother's been dead for, it'll be 14 years on March 18th. If somebody came to my house with a picture and said, I think I'm your mama's daughter, I'd be like, oh, hell no. Close that. I ain't got time for that. You know, a lot of crap. I ain't got time for that.
What I will say is that, I don't know, for me, it's interesting because I have siblings. And like, all of them are brothers. You know, I have all brothers. I have 3 brothers, and you know, I like 2 of them, and I don't necessarily like the 3rd one. And that doesn't make him any less my brother. So like the sisterhood's there regardless. You know, it's like So the question is the power of the sisterhood that they like each other, or just that they are able to work together? Like,
well, okay, and I'm gonna add on to that. I'm so sorry, Nyleeb. I see Nyleeb is gonna be my fact checker. It's usually Nicholas, but he said it wasn't even the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, I'm being called out. So you're right. It was the day. It was daytime. You are absolutely right. And then I got another one for you. In the cut scene, she was actually there with Gavin, because she actually, the original story, her and Gavin were dating originally, and they came to Hillside together, to go to Hilltown together to go work for the lab. So yeah, I do know my crap. I just to get my days and my nights mixed up because I don't sleep. I'm an insomniac. So
the day is the one that the sun is out. That's how I remember it. I mean,
well, I have blackout curtains, so I don't even got that.
Oh,
so,
well, there you go.
But no, like the whole thing, even with Macy, again, I have to disclaimer, I like Macy.
Yeah.
I love her. And really quickly, guys, if you hear water in my background, because I'm hearing it, it's distracting the heck out of me. We are in a snow thing, like we are snowed in right now, and our water's going crazy. We have to like leave it on. The pipes are doing weird stuff, so you'll hear water, and I apologize. But Macy, so the whole thing with her, like, I feel like her and Mel, I feel like Macy never let that moment go. Like, remember when she became the Source, and the first thing she did in terms of sisterhood, she got rid of Mel. She's like, it's always you. You're the problem. So she basically became Mel. She took over Mel's life. It was her, the mother, and Maggie. And then poor Mel was an Uber driver or something, like in a whole other state, you know, and everybody's memory was wiped. I mean, that is the animosity that I've always felt between Macy and Mel. And there has not been a conversation. Really, I mean, yes, Macy in one of the episodes did say, I feel like an outsider. You know, I've always been an only child, and I feel like, you know, being in a sisterhood type situation is new for me. And I'm not comfortable with that because, you know, she was raised by her dad away from them. So she doesn't have that whole experience of having sisters like Mel and Maggie have their whole lives. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just, I feel like sometimes she has autism at times, because like even how she was explaining to Maggie how she was her full sister came off very harsh. Like she was saying, DNA doesn't lie. Me and you are full sisters, and Mel, you're only half. I was like, there was a better way to deliver that.
Like, she has no bedside manner because she's a scientist and not a doctor.
Yes, none. But I feel like there's so much potential. Honestly, I feel like once Macy and Mel work out their crap, they're going to be very strong. Their sisterhood is going to be very strong. Yeah. It's just that we're not getting that from the writers, and I don't know why. We have brand new showrunners starting the beginning of season 2. Yeah, you would have thought they would have saw that in season 1 and say, "Hey, we need to expand on this." It got worse. It literally got worse. All they did was separate. So here we are, you know, in this episode, and they're still going their own ways. And I get it. They had to find the pieces of the necklace, but they spent so much time apart, you know, in this episode that was very interesting to me. You know, it's like, okay, so we're going back to that formula. I don't know. It was very strange. It was very strange. Maria, you need to be a showrunner. Well, I have a film degree, and I am actually majored in screenwriting. So
yeah, somebody was saying that I need to be on the writer's room. Somebody said it earlier, and it's like, but I also I do not have a degree in film or anything. So I'm just really good at spotting things, and when you telegraph things in a TV show, it's just, I mean, it's just there. I mean, I've just watched so much TV. Yeah. I mean, it is. Did you say I'm about to go to jail? Look, guys, just ignore my background because things are crazy here. I'm in the apocalypse of snow, and people are going crazy, and they don't know how to drive, so it's fine. That's all that is. Somebody doesn't know how to drive in the snow, and that's what that is. But okay. Another thing that really bothered me, it was an overall good episode, but Jimmy being killed by Harry so quickly. Yeah. We invested so much in Jimmy. Like, I was invested. I thought he was going to be like the next threat because they put the mind virus in, and he was going to convince everyone that he was a good guy and nobody could fight him. You know, it would have been epic. But instead they're like, I'm just going to breach the command center because, you know, magic is dying, so of course anybody can just walk in. Swan could walk in right now with like a spatula and hit you, and I'm just gonna kill you, Harry, because that is my motivation. I came from London, England
somehow that quickly, and got to this command center in Seattle just to kill you, Harry, in this 35-second fight. Right. Go. I'm like, you got it. I'm like, I invested so much.
Here's the problem with that, and I think this is why it's okay that it went so fast. Is that Jimmy is not dead? Because
I don't think that's true.
Well, because they were fighting and they kept going back and forth, and then he stabbed Jimmy, and then Magic was back, and then Jimmy died.
True.
So Jimmy is not dead. If he had killed him before they restored the tree, then that would have been the case, and he would have been dead for good. But Jimmy's still out there. That's my theory here.
True. Me and you are gonna be. Look, we got our Jimmy fingers crossed because he brings so much flavor to Harry. So I need him. I need him to be alive. Now I will tell you this: if we don't see him anywhere else in season 3, me and you are composing a letter to the CW network. I'm just saying. Just put it out there.
You better
in it.
Yeah, and Nadia. I want Nadia back too.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, I'm still like, I want Jada back. I want to have some closure for Nico. I mean, I want it all. I mean, seriously, Mel can move on with Abby, but I need closure with my baby Nico. But that's all.
But no, Jimmy's not dead.
So you're on the stance that Jimmy is not dead. I am. I've already said I will sign. Yeah, we'll do a petition and we'll just put it off the UW. Please allow us to give you notes weekly for the writers' room. I'm like, sign your fans.
So something that Tara just said. I don't think Jimmy is dead either, but I do think he wanted Harry to kill him because he couldn't do it. And yeah, that is something I definitely said in my review, because Harry grabbed the sword and Jimmy basically threw his body on it. Like, it was that's why the fight was so fast too, is because Jimmy wasn't really fighting. He was just like pretending fight.
And that's
I'm gonna throw myself at you.
Because I would say Harry got really, really good at fighting very, very quickly, because they were kind of evenly matched in a way. But, your Dark Letter's obviously going to have an edge on you because they'll go to levels that you won't go, meaning they fight dirty. So, yeah, I do think that if Jimmy really wanted Harry dead, Harry would be dead. Kind of like I think he killed his boss. I mean, he kind of had this look on his face like he killed that boss. And, I would too if he made me make foo-foo plants. I mean, I'm like, you got to go, man. But no, I was, when I looked at that though, initially, I'm like, if they really killed him, if we're wrong, like if your theory on Jimmy, and everybody's theory on Jimmy, being alive is not true. Yeah. We're sending that petition. Just like, look, time stamping that right now. We're sending that petition.
If Jimmy is dead, then it is just as wasted as the mind virus.
Yep.
Because that's exactly like the first thing I thought of was just like Magic is dying. Oh, the mind virus is gone. Oh, that's how they're getting out of making the entire next season the mind virus, is that they're making the Magic go. So now the mind virus is dead. So but like they didn't think that Magic was going to die. So like they literally were still unleashing a mind virus on the world, which is not good.
Which is not smart. I don't know what it is. I mean, these women aren't stupid, but it seems like when they get together, they make stupid choices. I don't understand why.
Well, but also like I don't necessarily need to apply logic to every choice a character makes if they're making it like in the heat of the moment and whatnot, right? Because there have been stuff where like they're being chased, like why didn't they go up the stairs? Why did they go that way? It's just like, well, in the heat of the moment, you can give it to them. They're not really thinking logically and whatnot. But literally, these characters sit down and have meetings about what to do, and that's what they chose. Like that's the crazy part.
Yep. Well, and also, let's just hear me out. If I had so much experience with doors being left open, causing a lot of drama in my life, like, I don't know, pretty much the death of all Magic and myself, I think that after I almost sacrificed myself with my sisters to bring Magic back using the source of all things, I may want to, I don't know, close the damn door when I'm done. I'm like, I don't need this. Look, I understand they're like, we can't use the magical computer now to see where all the witches need help. And then we won't be able to have this very vague guardian of the tree who talks in riddles like she's from Lord of the Rings, talking to us, telling us absolutely nothing, making us figure stuff out for ourselves. We won't be able to have that in our lives. That to me is a plus. Close the door. I mean, close the door. So, I don't need her.
So one, that like their excuses were basically the main excuse that they said was, but then we won't be able to help other witches. And I'm like, I'm like, girl, when was the last time you helped other witches? That had to have been at least 12 episodes ago. Y'all guys haven't been doing none of that shit. Macy used it to go to the island and go get busy with Julian. That was like, that's what she used her orbing for. It was not to help a witch there, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. She wanted to go get her some in Colorado because if Harry can do it, I can do it too. but no, I get that being able to just teleport anywhere with this wonderful little marble is great and all, but the technology seems to have been there, the entire time before they even realized that the door was even there. The tree was even there. What Black Amber even was, because Celeste is a mad scientist. So she came up with a lot of things, like even down to her watch that she used her time stopper to stop her own time, which I know you said this too. Didn't you think that she was going to die?
Yes. The way that they were playing it.
Sacrifice.
Yes.
You got like one worry line. Like, I don't understand what happened. What did you?
I mean, and that's why when they gave it back, I'm like, they're giving it back now. Well, then it makes sense why it wasn't a bigger deal in the first place. But they did not say that up front. Like the way that they were framing it was very much that like, I can't believe you're giving this up, and we know, oh my gosh, this is so important. And like, I was like, wow, this is a huge deal. But they're not. Like, you're not even saying thank you or anything. Like,
I was like, I'm going to use this example. Take this. This has my life attached to it. I've been using it for hundreds of years, but I'm going to put a spell on it because everything can have a spell. And I'm going to send you forward in time, but only for 15 minutes because I'm not that good. And when this leaves, I will be sacrificing 15 minutes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's
Celeste.
I mean, Celeste was never my favorite, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea of her. Like, I'm trying to be as useful as I can be so that magic doesn't die. But like, literally, give me my thing back, though. Yeah. So.
I love what Tara says. I still think Celeste is evil. Is it Tara or Tara?
Celeste. Okay, so you guys need to go watch my video. It's called Ethics. It's an ethics video in Charmed. Celeste is technically she is morally bankrupt, but ethically she is correct. And I break it all down in my video. So feel free to go watch that one because I use Celeste and oh god, now I'm forgetting his name. Gideon Godric, the lieutenant. Is it Godric?
Yeah, I think it's Godric.
Okay.
The one that wants to become the source.
The one who wants to be the demon overlord. Yeah. So I compare the two of them and how they actually are very they're very opposite of the way that we think those kind of people are. So like he is not your typical demon. She is not your typical witch. And kind of just talking about how they both buck with the setup of the world building of the world. Anyway, I won't talk entirely about that, but it was a really fun video that I put together like 6 months ago or whatever. I did put it together during the second season.
So old, Eli.
I don't know. Anyway, ethics.
Yeah.
I don't believe that she is evil, but she is morally wrong, but also she is ethically correct based on the standards and the rules set up within the witch world. So.
Well, her and Macy have that in common in terms of science because she does magical science. Like she's the one who came up with the whole process of splitting the white lighter into a dark lighter, white lighter.
Yeah.
And she could rationalize it because for her, it was, this is a success. This is how we make the pure angel basically by taking their dark side out. Well, Macy was going to go find, to make the mind virus, she had no problem going and getting that siren's tongue, even though it was fresh, because it's literally her science brain takes over. So it doesn't matter that a creature suffered to have their tongue cut out. It's like, but look at the good I can do with it. Yep. So that's why her and Julian got along so well, because they really do have the same mindset. The only difference is it affects, Macy's other side, the other part of her life, being that she's also a witch.
Exactly.
So we could do a Netflix video on all these characters.
Oh my gosh. No, I mean, you definitely could. Anyway, everybody go watch that video. But going back to, I guess, kind of what we were talking about before with Celeste, I liked Celeste being in the episode because, again, if it was the finale of season 2, she actually did play a very large part in season 2. So it made sense to have her there to kind of help complete the storyline. So I do like that as well.
We needed those 15 minutes. We needed them.
It was something. They had to explain how she was going to do time stuff now that since she didn't have time magic anymore. But I know a lot of people are saying that now that they've all been infused again with the source and all that junk, that a lot of people are saying that they're going to get their original powers back.
I would love that. You know what? And what's interesting to me is with Mel specifically, if you look at the preview for the next episode, it looks like she's back to teaching again, like she was in the first season. Yeah. Which, since her actual life is supposed to be dead, she doesn't have the credentials. She didn't really have the credentials with her old life, because when they rewrote, time to save Nico, she became a bartender. So I'm trying to figure out how we got from there to no employment.
So I think what's going to end up happening. So with witness protection, we're not talking about witchness yet. With just regular witness protection, the moment you are no longer in danger anymore, they can reintegrate you back into society. You don't necessarily need to stay in hiding forever. So if there is no more need for witchness protection, because, the Dark Lighter isn't trying to assassinate them anymore, which is actually the thing that prompted all of this, was just the fact that Jimmy was trying to kill them. So if there's no longer a need for that, then there's probably a backup thing that's like, okay, cool, you don't need to be in witness protection anymore. Cool, we're going to flip this switch, and nobody remembers you were dead, and everything can just go back to normal because magic.
True. So. I see that. Like I said, this show, even though it is its own series, it does pull a lot from the OG series. People don't realize that. The episode where the Charmed Ones blew up their house and pretended to be dead and took on their blonde cousins' personas. That was their version of witness protection. So they lived as other people instead of, basically being the exact same people, looking the exact same, and being on social media, and nobody realizes that they're them. I don't get that at all, but if Superman can take his glasses on and off, I guess we'll suspend our disbelief on that too.
Well, no, it's like Dead Like Me. It's like Dead Like Me. It's like it's a perception filter from Doctor Who. It's just all these different things.
But I just would love for them to say that that's what that was. That would have helped me out. But no, it's interesting because look at Ruby. Wasn't Ruby in witness protection? And she had a job, and she had a life, and she had an apartment. So why couldn't they have jobs? And which I feel like if you're going to take my powers away and make me defenseless, at least set me up where I can hide and have an actual identity that nobody knows. And I feel like they just didn't have time to flesh that out, or they just didn't think to do it. I don't know. Like I said, we weren't in the writer's room. We should have been, but
I feel like the idea of having them die and they need to go in witness protection and all that stuff, I think it felt like it was a really good inciting incident. It was a really good inciting incident to launch the second season, and then about halfway through, I feel like the writers just kind of forgot that it was a thing. So none of the choices and stuff were being made under the context that they were dead. Like it was all just like, oh no, we're just different now. It's like, no, it's like, no, you're supposed to be dead, like straight up dead.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw them, like somebody took a picture and it was just like, you needed to chase down that person and smash their phone and delete their cloud. Like they can't take a picture of you. This is witness protection. It's like,
well, and I know there's so much to that. I mean, right now, I don't really feel like they can't just go back to their old lives, not really go back to Hilltown, but actually just go back to being Vera and Vaughn.
Yeah.
Because the threat is eliminated. You could literally reclaim your life. Like Macy's PhDs are under Macy Vaughn.
Yes.
Not under Macy Flores.
Right.
She has no degrees under that. So like, unless they do a spell, which technically, I guess we don't have the same personal gain. I guess we don't have to deal with that in the series because they've never said really anything about that.
I still feel like it's not going to be a new spell. I think it's just going to be a reversal of whatever spell was used at the beginning. Like, so I feel again, like, because all of this that's all Celeste doing. So whenever you're talking about, personal gain and all that stuff, it doesn't apply to Celeste. So she can do whatever she wants.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like Celeste needs to make also some notes for herself on how to fix these girls' lives because they don't have social security numbers. I'm just going to keep saying it because they don't. And I mean, that's a big deal in the States, especially with what's going on in our country. I
think it's going to work out. I think what's going to happen is we're going to launch into what's officially the new season, and we will be able to forget a lot of the stuff that happened in the second season.
That's what I need them to do because I've always joked about this in my reviews, guys, but the girls are supposed to be, 2 of them are half Hispanic and another one is full Hispanic. They have no documentation proving they should be in the US. I think you know where I'm going with that. Witches are not, ICE is coming for them. So
but in the second season, they were in safe space, and in safe space, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Because Swan is a defender.
Because Swan is an elder. That's what
Swan is an elder. That was what we had decided. That's correct.
I think she's gonna up and just say one day, she's just like, yeah, I've been watching you guys mess up like a lot. I thought Celeste could handle it. We've been through a lot together. I see that I was wrong. I should have stepped in a lot earlier.
I just want them to do more with Swan. I hope Swan doesn't go away in a third.
There's no point in having her around all the time, Eloy, if they aren't going to do anything with her. She can't just be the girl that says, I love vegan pizza. Would you like a vegan cupcake? Oh, I'm a visionary. I think he's a visionary. Like, I can quote Swan's lines. That is ridiculous. I'm just saying. All right. So some other things about.
I think we hit a lot of the major stuff. I mean, but I wouldn't know because we have no structure to this episode.
No,
so.
and like I said, I know that you guys, you like to come for me for this, but I mean, you have to have structure in an episode for me to begin with. So, and when I do my reviews, I will tell you that when I recap, sometimes I'm all over the place because that is how I feel when I'm watching it. It's like, I'm seeing the Maggie drama. Okay, wait, no, we're dealing with the Mel drama. Wait, hold up. We got to go over here to Hasty now. Well, okay, we're throwing Celeste in. So it's like if you throw in everything but the kitchen sink, I'm throwing everything but the kitchen sink back at you.
There's 4 major storylines. Like, that's the thing is, like, it used to be like 2 major storylines. Then it was 3 for a while there. Now we're up to 4. Like, because then in this last episode, we had Mel and Abby. We had Maggie and Jordan. And then we had Harry and Macy. And then, so it was those 3. And then when everybody came back together.
Remember, we started off with Jordan and Abby.
And then we start off with Jordan and Abby. And then Mel and Ruby. And then,
it's like magical chairs.
And there's a ton of different, characters and stuff. And that's what I'm saying is like, basically some of these characters are going to have to take a back seat. And, I'm sorry, Harry. If it's between giving you more screen time and giving Jordan more screen time, I believe Jordan is deserving of that now. You got a lot in the second season. So I think that Jordan needs
a whole arc for himself.
Which I loved. I can't even be mad about it. Like, I was like, man, why are they giving him so much screen time? But like, they really did good by Harry and White Lighters in general and the whole world building around that. They did good. Like, we talk a lot about like, the screenwriters and blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, the White Lighter stuff they wrote, that stuff was good. Like, that was, I can't even front. Like, that's solid writing right there.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you something that I agreed 100% with you off the bat in your review. Cause I always watch your stuff after I do mine.
Same here. Yeah.
So I love when you pointed out that Macy took forever to look under her damn bed. I'm like, right? You should know what's in your closet. You know what's in that closet because it was immaculate. She had boxes on the top. Yeah, everything was hung up. She started flinging it on the bed. I'm like, you knew what was in that closet. But I mean, how did you not remember that you hid? Not only that, she would hide things in the ottoman. Remember, she had her sketchbook in there last season. So I don't know why we didn't have that ottoman back, but whatever. But
but I feel like I feel like that's exactly what it is. I feel like it's a Doctor Who style perception filter. Like I feel like she set something up with this box with these sandals so that there's just something in the back of her mind that she will just never look there.
Eloy.
But the problem is that they didn't say that. Like
they didn't say that. Yeah.
They
but
didn't say
also,
it.
you need to explain something to me, okay? Because
Okay.
I must have missed this. She said, I don't know why I would have I would have had these sandals because I don't wear open-toed shoes.
Yep.
And I don't like the beach or sand. So
Yep.
why did she have the sandals to begin with?
Because I think because each of the girls, after they got rid of their piece, apparently they all left themselves breadcrumbs. You know what I mean?
So she went out and bought herself some sandals to stick under her bed as a breadcrumb to finding her piece.
Or she does actually like sandals in the beach, but she put it into her mind that she doesn't, so that she would never use these sandals on the beach to ever reclaim the necklace for the source again. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's some definite like memory jargon-y things happening here. So like if she in her brain is like, I never wear sandals and I never go to the beach. Where did you hide the necklace? Using these sandals on the beach. Yes, that's why you think you don't wear sandals and like the beach.
Now, see, I love that, but we both know that is your creation. The writers are not that advanced. And Evar just said she could have just had a jar of sand. Yes, that is exactly true.
Well, no, because then they had to get there and then they had to cast the spell on the sandals to have it walk them to the path of the thing. It's a whole thing. I liked it. I don't know. I like the sandals.
She could have done some Aladdin stuff, cast the spell on the sand and had it form into a sand carpet and fly off to the freaking thing. That would have been much cooler. No, no.
I thought the sandals were cute. I think that was the one
Eloy is
actually enjoyed
the show. He's like, that Maggie's hair, no, but those sandals though, yes.
I liked it, and that's the thing is like, so whenever when you're doing screenwriting, if you don't say something, the viewer will fill in the blank. And I have watched enough Doctor Who and other magical shows and stuff like that like in my mind I'm like, oh no, obviously there was a back part to the mind wipe that made her think she doesn't like it and blah blah blah, all that's like that's I make that stuff up in my brain to fill in the gaps. But if you don't have the TV watching experience that I have, you're literally going to be like, well then why do you have the sandals?
Now, see, I agree with that. As somebody whose mother was British and who I watched Tom Baker growing up, that was actually one of my Sesame Street shows. We watched Doctor Who with the aluminum foiled Cybermen, and before they had a budget. So I do know, but you also remember or have to remember, even now with Jodie Whittaker, that series is full of plot holes. And you literally can dissect it. I could do videos for years on Doctor Who plot holes.
I feel like Doctor Who embraces that though. Like
they make fun of it themselves. They make fun of it.
You can't.
But now the reason
have a show that's going for as long as Doctor Who has been going without contradicting something, especially when you're talking about different personalities and the different lives of the doctors, and he would do different things and different, like I loved the new stuff with Jodie, and not to make this a Doctor Who thing, but I like the new stuff with Jodie saying that, she's actually just part of the cycle of this cycle of doctors, but there were doctors before and she doesn't even remember. It's like, wait, what? That just changes everything. Like I love stuff like that.
Child thing and storyline. I mean, it was like, we're gonna have to. That's a whole other conversation. That's gonna get into some deep.
It really is. Sorry, I didn't mean to even go down that road. We should stop.
That is a rabbit hole we will not crawl out of. But Madness Arcade, Powerpuff Girls. I know that you are really wondering if I'm going to watch that or skip it. I don't know until I see a trailer. I have not conceived in my mind how the CW is going to make a live action Powerpuff Girls series. And I'm just going to leave it right there.
Live action Powerpuff Girls. I'll. You know what? I will give anything 3 episodes.
That's
what I do.
That's my motto too. And I said it in my reviews. I at least do the first 3 episodes of everything from the premiere to the 3rd episode. If you haven't found your riff by then, I usually abandon you.
See, that's the thing about the sisterhood that really gets me is that I have people in my comments constantly saying, usually it's OG fans saying like, I watched the first episode and they just got together too quickly and they're just all of a sudden, like at least in the original series, they had to struggle to get their sisterhood. And I'm like, but you only watched the first episode. And the first episode yes, they banded together quickly to defeat the ice demon in front of them so it didn't murder them.
Yeah.
But that is not to say that everything was smooth sailing after that point. And that's the thing, is if you just give something one episode, especially based on expectation, then you're not going to enjoy it, first off.
Yeah.
And then you're going to blame the entire show, even though it could get better after that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I always give everything 3 episodes, and I really do like to go into things cold. I don't like trailers. So without even watching the trailer, I will watch the first 3 episodes of Powerpuff Girls when it comes on CW.
Yeah, I usually watch it, but I love trailers only because I like to see the shot composition. But that's my film brain. It's because I love seeing how they shoot things and what the quality is going to be. Because you can usually tell the tone of something based on how the trailer looks.
Yeah.
Not the story. You're never going to get the story. Like even with Superman and Lois, it looks amazing. You can tell HBO Max just really put money into this, but it's not telling us if this is just this one like 2-parter episode that's going to look amazing, and then we're going to have like the Flash quality going for it. We have no idea.
Well, but that's my problem with trailers in the first place, is whenever I watch a trailer, my brain, again, because I've watched so much movies and TV shows, I write, I'm a creative person, I do role-playing games. My job is coming up with, if I see something, what's the next thing that's going to happen? Like, that's what I do. So I watch any trailer, and I have now mapped out what that movie is going to be in my brain. And what that does is it sets up expectations, and then
you're let down.
A lot of the time I'm either let down, or if it's exactly what I thought, well, then I'm not surprised because I already guessed what it was going to be. So that's why I mostly avoid trailers. I did watch the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat because really I just wanted to see what they're doing with that. And
we're
honestly, it looks really good.
Guys, we gotta say, I did a reaction video to this. I got a copyright claim immediately, and I no longer have one though, because I pointed out the error of their ways.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, as somebody who played Mortal Kombat 2 through freshman year of college and was super excited about it, and like that was my first ever fighting game. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This should have been the movie I had in the 90s. This movie, when Sub-Zero did what he did, I was like, what?
When he did what he did. I really like it. I really like it. It looks like it's going to be good. It looks like the Mortal Kombat movie we should have gotten. I agree.
Yes, we need to review that. That should be something I invite you to have.
Let's do it. Oh my gosh.
Because oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing.
Love it.
Anyway, okay, back to the charm. Sorry, guys.
We're about to hit an hour, so we should probably start wrapping up at least a little bit.
Yeah, so we need to. Well, I will say something else I noticed about going forward in the season. I feel like Maggie's going to take more of a Phoebe route when Phoebe was trying to reinvent herself in college.
Okay.
Just think about it this way. Phoebe majored in psychology. Maggie started in psychology in the series. She was like, remember, she kind of drifted to it, and she's like, I think I'm going to do psychology. So that's what she decided to major in. Because before she was undecided, she was just working at a waitress and was pledging the Kappa, but she decided to go for psychology. Okay. So I think that they actually are paralleling a lot of Maggie and Phoebe's storylines,
Well, and if she tries to reinvent herself now, would she move away from psychology into maybe?
I'm hoping is going to happen. My fear is it's going to be another retelling of what she was prior to this. It's almost like they're returning home to their normalcy of season 1.
Maybe they can bring in some Prue inspiration and have her do journalism. I
mean, they all kind of went through a shift. Everyone in the OG show. I mean, I think Piper went from working at a bank to trying to be a chef to owning a nightclub. Yeah. And then we had Paige, who went from being a social worker to being a temp to running magic school to kind of going back to being a full-time white lighter. Prue even went from being an art curator to being a photojournalist. Like they all changed careers so much because they were trying to reinvent themselves, which I think is awesome. I don't think Macy has that luxury because Macy is science. Yeah. That's it. I mean, she could obviously do something else in science, but it has to be science for her because that is her love, unless she decides to go on American Idol because she likes to sing. But
that's what I will say is that superpowers can change you.
True.
I have a video coming next week, and it's all about Barry Allen, the ordinary forensic scientist. So watch out for that video. Because I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you a lot of opinions, essentially. What is Madness Arcade here saying?
Superheroes are disillusioned 20-somethings who resent having lost their childhood to crime fighting. Will they agree to reunite now that the world needs them more than ever? This is the premise. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Charm. You're talking about Powerpuff Girls. Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
Okay.
I mean, I guess that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that as, I mean, because they can't be babies. So they're going to have to be like at least kids. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
That sounds a little bit like Jessica Jones though, but you know.
It does. It does.
That's
I love Jessica Jones.
God.
So Madness Arcade also said, do you guys think that there will be a few weeks to a few months time skip?
Yes. There
Starting.
will absolutely be a time skip.
Yeah. I mean, they got to deal with why they can't touch each other, which that I guess that would be really messed up if that is the ultimate sacrifice, especially since that means that, you know, AC can't touch each other.
No, you're right. No, that's a really good point because the ultimate sacrifice would have been Mel, but since that didn't happen, it doesn't mean that you don't have to sacrifice anything.
Yep.
That just means you're sacrificing something else. But what I had also said in my other video, so that's a really good point. The way that I had said it too is I think that they are all kind of surging with the same energy right now. And if you think about magnets, if you have 4 positive magnets,
they retract. Yeah.
They're not going to be able to get close to each other.
Yeah.
So positively charged magnets, I guess I should say, not joyous, positive magnets like with smiles and whatnot. So I think that could also be it. And that could just be something that, fades. Like it could be something that could be like they're now surging with the power of the source and the tree, and they're probably more powerful than they've ever been. See, this is already me filling in the blanks and coming up with a really cool storyline that's going to happen, but probably won't. But now they have all the power that they want, and like they have all access to their old powers, and they have new powers, and they can do all this cool stuff, but they can't be together. They can't be near each other. So are you going to then choose the power, or are you going to give it up for your family? And then that would be like, that's good for like at least 4 or 5 episodes worth of story right there.
Exactly, because that ultimately would also affect them being the charm ones and having the power of 3, because they cannot be together like
they
that.
Would all have the power of 1, but then it would be like, so like, oh, I don't have to rely on anybody. And then you can have them like, now they're acting selfish and, all that stuff, and they get power hungry. I think it would be honestly, that sounds really fun.
Yeah, I did say that in my review. And also just how it looks like Mel is on top of the world. Macy looks miserable saying, oh, this is going to be our lives. And then even Maggie's kind of like, it almost seems like she's having issues with Mel. Maybe Mel is teaching one of her classes, but it seems like they're not getting along.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that could be a result of them, not being able to touch each other. It's severing their ability to like each other. It's like, I can't tolerate you. That's the sacrifice.
Because it could be something that it's not even, it's not, magically you are separated, but it could also just start separating their connection and the power of 3 and all that stuff. I mean, I guess it's an interesting way to introduce yet another reason why the sisterhood could be in danger. Because I don't think that the sisterhood will never be at a point where it's not in danger, because that's just charming.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go by what happens when the sisters fight, I mean, quite frankly, if they had the Book of Shadows, then then the charm symbol should have split, because Macy and Mel are not, basically bonded.
Yeah.
So for really, and I hate to say this, I think I even mentioned this in my review. I said, if it was true, if that's what's really happening, there's not really any difference with Macy and Mel. It just would reflect both of their, I think basically their relationship with Harry and Maggie would be where you would really see it, but you really wouldn't see any difference. And that's kind of sad to say, that between Macy and Mel, that you wouldn't have a difference. So I don't know.
What I will say is that I thought it was weird that Harry was also part of that push away thing. Right? Because if it's a result of being part of like putting your hand in the thing, he didn't do that.
He didn't. Yep, he didn't touch it at all. That's what I was thinking. That's why I'm thinking that the sacrifice is that their relationship is going to start deteriorating with each other.
But his soul is kind of connected to theirs because he's their soul, he's their white lighter. But I think maybe that connection was severed though when all the white lighters and the elders and stuff died. So technically, okay. Yeah, so then there's zero reason for him to be part of that.
Yeah, he's a bodyguard at this point.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that was a really interesting question. But yeah, I was thinking, I mean, that is one of the biggest mysteries because coming next week, I mean, it just looks like it almost looks like it's a demon of the week type scenario. It doesn't even look like we have repercussions, but I think it's going to be filled with that on Sunday. So I am excited about that. And there's another question I was trying to get to. I know we're going to get ready to go in a few minutes, guys. I know we started a little bit late, so I'm trying to get to a few questions before we do. And if you know anything about scrolling up on StreamYard,
it's terrible. It's terrible. It's bad on YouTube too. But, but also remember too is that when this video is done and we're no longer live, the chat goes away and you have to put comments. So just be sure to put comments in the video. Exactly. And we'll follow up.
Okay, so this is a good one. What do you guys think about Rosemary after Julian and Viv died? Did she survive or did they just leave her in a coma?
I think I addressed this because I did like an hour-long live stream after Viv was killed. So here's how like probate stuff works. Essentially, if Julian died, it would go to Rosemary, but then Aunt Viv would have been the caretaker. So it would have gone to Aunt Viv under the guise of if Rosemary ever woke up and whatever. But now if Viv is gone, it technically goes to Rosemary. But because she's in a state that she can't actually do anything with the money and whatnot, it's going to end up going to probate court and it's going to be put into the handling of an estate. Which is like a bank is going to end up handling it all. And that bank will make the best decisions for Julian's company and all of that stuff going forward in the hopes of still maintaining it so that if Rosemary ever wakes up, she would actually still have the fortune there. But they were doing a whole lot of illegal stuff, so they probably have a lot of legal challenges ahead of them, and they probably have a lot of taxes, and like I doubt that they were paying their taxes and being like good.
Well, they have a lot of investors too,
and investors that they have to pay back because they can't just turn them to stone that now. So,
but let's not forget this, guys. Nadia is still alive.
And Nadia is still alive, but Nadia is not related.
But she was Viv's right hand. So we don't know what, fail-safe Viv had in case something happened to her.
Viv seems like the type of person who would leave her fortune to like her dogs or something. Like,
I'm wondering if he left, not really so much the fortune, but the company to continue the work could be a possibility. I mean, I don't want that to happen because it's going to drag out that story again. And I'm not in the mood for that, but I can't say the writers won't think that that's a great idea. So
I don't know. I feel like Julian would have put in like to his living will, like give it all to charity and then like make sure that my sister's taken care of. So like, here's money in a trust to make sure that all her medical bills are taken care of, but the rest of it goes to charity. And I think that that's why his aunt was trying to keep him around for as long as possible and trying to coax him because she had no control over his money. She needed him to make all the major decisions. And so I think that's it. I don't know, like I'm no lawyer or anything, but I'm also a huge like Prince fan. And after he died, I learned a lot about probate court because he did not leave a will. So I know what happens if you don't leave a will. So
I actually know that too because I was widowed before this marriage, and my mother also passed away, and she wasn't a citizen, so technically she didn't have American assets to leave. So everything went to the military because my dad was military. So it's all a mess. Yeah. So I know exactly what happens when you don't have a living will, or any of that stuff.
But I do agree with like the sentiment here of just you like Rosemary was not treated as a person. She was treated as like a motivation. And as soon as the character who was motivated by her is gone, the show is like, well, then we don't need her anymore.
But then I wonder if
follow up with her.
So. I wonder if Nadia could have actually had instructions to make sure they continue taking care of Rosemary. I don't think they just left Rosemary out there,
Well, I think I don't know. I think that Rosemary is just going to be there. I think that that's sad, and I'm hoping that maybe Harry decides that so it's not a magical sickness or anything. I'm a white lighter. I can literally just heal her. Why don't I just do that?
So that was another thing, Eloy, that I said about them needing Abby for the memories, because I mean I think somebody pointed this out about the memory dust in OG. That white lighters use memory dust. Why couldn't Harry just give them their memories back? He took them. Why couldn't he just give them back? And why did he not have them? Did they say he had instruction? I don't remember that ever being part of that conversation. I have to go back and watch.
I'll have to go back too. Yeah,
but I don't remember them saying, "Well, you, Harry, you can't know where it is." I mean, why wouldn't they trust him with that information in case something happened and one of them was discovered or somebody found them? You need to have a fail-safe. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. Okay, a couple of more Madness Arcade. Eloy collabs with Kristen and Maria, but never both at the same time. Maybe a three-way collab one day. I don't
do that.
I don't know Kristen, so that's probably why.
No, I know Kristen. I'm actually going to be doing a collab with Kristen on Monday. So we could I'll talk to her. I'm sure we could arrange some sort of three-way thing. I think that would be a lot of fun. The best part about that's actually why I like talking with you and I like talking with Kristen, because both of you catch things that I don't catch, and you guys catch different stuff than each other as well. So it's like it's always fun. So yeah, we can totally make it a three-way call situation.
I mean, that's what StreamYard is for.
Yeah, and that's what StreamYard's for. Yeah.
Yep. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly.
By the way, thank you to people who are following me and following my other collaborations. Thank you.
You making feel good tonight. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Maybe with all this stuff going on with Mel and Macy, it was focusing on the relationship. As you can see in the real season finale of season 2, that Mel told Macy that she loves her now that things are over. I mean, Mel's always said that, though. This wasn't new. Mel has always said, "I love you." I mean, even in season 1, when the scene where Macy has the needle and she's not wanting to give it up, and like, of course, Mel goes to take it from her. It's like, this is bad. It's a demonic thing. Stop using it. And she pushes, Mel, and like Mel's like, basically, she just attacked me. And Maggie's like, Macy, and she snaps out of it. And you see Macy's like, oh, and then Mel says, "I love you." And then Macy says, "I love you too." She has always said, "I love you." That's the thing. I think it's not that Macy, I don't think it's that Macy doesn't love Mel. I just think that she's not bonded to her as, as she is with Maggie. It's so easy for her and Maggie. And it's sad. I just need them to figure that out, because honestly,
I think a lot of that comes though from the way that Macy was raised. Like, she was very alone her whole life and all of that stuff. And Maggie and Mel grew up together, so they immediately have that obvious bond.
Well, they have memories, they have all that,
exactly. So, I mean, I think as time goes on, that will happen. Is all I guess. But what Blue Wolf Phoenix Rising, by the way, amazing name. You say all three of y'all could balance each other out. You could be your own version of the charmed power of 3, and it made me think we should all do our own reviews. And then we all get together and we do a special Power of 3 review each week. That would be awesome. We could start a whole new podcast.
I love it.
The Power of 3 podcast.
And you know what? I don't know Kristen's orientation, but I can be Mel because I'm the queer one. I'm good with that. I don't
know what that makes me. I guess I'm Macy then, because I don't think I'm very much like Maggie. I don't think I could be Maggie. I don't.
No, you can't be Maggie because you're rooting for Jordan right now. So you're like, you can't. You have to be Macy. I'm sorry.
I always say, I'm like, Jordan, you deserve better. You deserve better, Jordan. Run, Jordan.
Just like, Jordan, run. All right. For your info, there's 30 people here and only 14 likes. I know. I struggle with that. I mean,
here's the thing. Everybody who shows up to these sorts of things, hit the like button, because here the weird thing with the YouTube algorithm is the more of you who hit like, the more people then get told that it's happening.
Yep.
So like it's not enough to just show up. You have to show up, you have to hit like, you have to engage, and then YouTube goes, "Oh man, it's a party going on over there. We should probably get more people over there." But if you just show up and you listen, they're not going to invite anybody else. It's crazy.
Yeah, I really feel like the algorithm of YouTube is also part of the charm plot. Like, it's just one of those things they didn't think through. So, I'm just putting it out there because things that happen in that algorithm blow my mind. I don't understand why videos get recommended over others. It's crazy. That's a whole other conversation. But
I spend so many hours of my day messing with metadata and algorithms and all kinds of stuff. You guys don't even know what it takes to have a YouTube channel.
You don't.
You really don't.
Yeah, no. I mean, guys, I know you heard me say on my channel, I get up at 5 a.m. on Saturdays to do a Yashahime review. And then right behind it, I have to watch RWBY and then do the review. Because and the reason I do them the same day, which full disclosure, I have a nonprofit job. So I work in fundraising. So I am working all the time. And then I have a second job. I do voiceovers for a living. That's my other job. Yeah. So I work 7 days a week. I do not have an off day ever. So that is why when you see these videos, if they come a little slower, like I told you, my Black Lightning review will be tomorrow. It's because of that. It's like literally I had a lot to do at work today. I could not get any time on my lunch break to film anything. So it's just all over the place. So
no, and I'm pretty much the same. Like I have 3 YouTube channels that I'm constantly recording and editing videos for. I also have a book publishing company, and I write and design RPGs, and I also make music. I'm actually about to release some of my first music to the world. So it's like, and plus family, obviously. What's that?
I'm excited about them. I'm jamming to Eloy's track.
I can't wait. It's really good. It's such good music. I mean, of course, I like it because I'm making it, but hopefully other people like it.
He likes it. It's his own. So
if I didn't like it, why would I be releasing it?
Exactly. I am excited for that. Yeah, and you need to like play some tracks in some of your YouTube videos as well. I think that'll be really cool.
Definitely.
Trinity, who did you do voice work for? I used to do stuff with Funimation when I lived in Texas. And now I do it for whoever will hire me. I do video games. I do everything. Everything. If you go to IMDb and you look up Maria Park, you'll see some of the stuff I was in. But yeah, that's the reason.
If you look me up, you will get a 404 page because I have not been in anything.
Well, if you see on my channel, I have a lot of Funimation actors that start doing like collabs with me. It's because they're people that I used to work with or I know personally from Funimation. I've got 2 coming up. I have one with Kevin Conley, who used to be in Full Metal Alchemist, and then I have one with Afia Yu, who is in a lot of shows like Assassin Class. I think it's called Assassin Classroom. She's in Fairy Tale. She's in a bunch of recent Funimation stuff. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it does. That's one of the directors too. But all right, I know we got to get going. I see another question on here. Laugh out when Macy came out of the vault and she looked at Harry and his bloody hand from killing Jimmy. Like, what the hell just went on? I mean, he didn't even try to hide it. He was just like, the door's open. I'm like, oh, my woman's alive. Cool. Don't worry about the blood on my hand. That's next.
Honestly,
week.
It looked like Harry was just as surprised that he won the fight because again, Jimmy wanted him to kill him. I don't think that he thought he would win that fight. I think he was just as surprised.
Oh wow. Eloy, I'm an Arthur. That's Nyleave. Is it Nyleave? I love that. That's such a pretty name, Nyleave.
I feel like, is that backwards for something? Marie Evelyn. See, it's backwards.
Is it?
Marie Evelyn backwards.
That is cool.
I like it.
8:20 p.m. That bitch. Let me put you over here. I kind of hope the sisters don't gain any more powers for a minute, since the whole thing with the Black Amber kind of makes it too easy for them to awake new powers instead of awakening them naturally. Yes, and actually allow some idiot to come clean in the command center and say, oh, this door is open. Oh, there's water in there. Let me put my water bottle in there. Well, magic's dead.
Well, let me also point out, see, that's the whole thing. I made a whole video about the first season of Charmed and how I got it. Like Black Amber would make it way too easy. But if you watch the first season, they got powers so fast. And like, if you watch that video that I made, I like map it out. Like they just got their powers way too fast in the first season. Like I was happy to have the slow burn, but whoever is writing the show, they were like, nope, they need to have brand new powers every 3 episodes.
Yeah. And on season 1, I love that they had their powers and, initially, because, of course, in OG, they did have powers, but they were bound. And just like theirs were bound. but they actually learned to use it and master their powers a heck of a lot faster than in the OG. They were like, we're on a schedule, we got to get.
And not only that, but then they got upgrades like halfway through, and it's just like, now you have a staff, and now you have time bracelets, and like, oh gosh.
And you know what though?
What do we need those for?
Power Ranger stuff. I was down with that. Man, my own little Charm Super Sentai. I was like, I got this. I'm gonna give you different colored clothes. Somebody's gonna be red, somebody's gonna be black, somebody's gonna have to be pink. I'm sorry, but you're gonna throw you in there. And then let's just do this. Let's just do it, But then they were like, power's gone. Now your powers are I'm not gonna lie, Mel's powers are pretty stupid.
I don't like matter mastery. I hate the name too.
I don't like. I mean, if you want her to be Elsa, just let her free stuff. I mean, don't have her like be half, the Human Torch and then half Elsa, depending on the day.
Because by the way, ice powers are really cool.
They are.
I mean, I actually didn't mean that as a pun. I didn't mean that as a pun, but
Sub-Zero,
but like Iceman is like my favorite X-Men. Like, ice powers are cool, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, cool, but I'm telling you, you want to see how cool ice powers are? Go watch the trailer for Mortal Kombat.
Seriously, it was very cool.
It's very cool. But I really need for Mel to get her powers back. It's not fair that Maggie has a force push power and emotion, manipulating power, and she still has premonitions.
That's true.
And Macy still has telekinesis, but she also had what I thought was actually more of a time stopping power, because when they were in the club, she stopped that audience. The Demon Club. So it seems like Mel just keeps getting like the bad end of every stick. She's being kind of shafted in a lot of ways, and it's actually irritating me a lot.
I think that's why she was so ready to die.
I mean, really, like, power suck, can't have a relationship.
I think she's like, my life sucks, so I guess I'll die for us. Like, you guys have a good one, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Kevin said technically Mel has the same powers as Piper, but they let Piper use them better.
She doesn't have any of that now.
He doesn't have that. Like, I know what you're saying. She does. In a way, she does, because actually Piper was not a time witch. She was slowing the molecules in their bodies and speeding them up to the point where it looks like she was controlling movement, but she wasn't.
That's kind of scarier, really, if you think
about it. It is, because she would slow it down to the point where she could blow your head off.
Right.
Like. Yeah, and actually Mel was the original definition of it. She was manipulating time. She was a time witch. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, she took the piece forward to the 2070. That's a time witch.
Here's my pitch, and if the writers are watching this, here's my pitch. I know they're probably not watching it, but come watch it, guys. You need to make Mel have force fields. That's what she needs to have. She needs to be Sue Storm. It fits her character perfectly because she's the protector. Like, that's how she feels. That's everything that she acts, everything that she does is all about protection. Give her the power of force fields, and it syncs so well up with her character, and it's a power that nobody has had on the show. So it would be something new that we could introduce in the reboot here, and really try and take it, because I love the nods to the old series and I like the homages and whatnot, but we need to start evolving past repeating what's already been done.
Yeah. So, I like that. I think I take that and morph it into Monica Rambeau with her photon powers, before she becomes, or even when she's Captain Marvel. I think that would be epic, and if we see that in WandaVision, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. But having her have the same powers as Monica Rambeau, I mean, she'd be Endgame.
That's probably why I would say I wouldn't give that to Mel, because I feel like their powers still need to be low key enough that things are a challenge.
I know, but my problem with that, like, they're making Macy and Maggie so powerful, and it's like they're leaving the middle child behind. So she is hold on. Macy Brady in the group, in a way.
Macy just has telekinesis now. She's back to what she had.
Well, we don't know that. The problem that I keep having with this season is that we've only seen Macy use her powers one time, and she levitated the bed. So until we see them further use their abilities, I can't say she still doesn't have that power, because they haven't addressed that. And
she has that, but her two powers were fire and telekinesis, and she gave up her fire.
No, in the club. Go back and watch the episode where they're going to rescue Abby and Mel on the stage.
Okay.
She freezes the entire audience. That's not telekinesis. That's something completely different. I don't know what that was. They only used it one time, And that was when they were in the club scene.
Sure, it wasn't just holding them back.
No, it was almost like everyone in that club stopped. I'll find the clip for you.
Go back and check that then. Yeah.
Check that in season 2. But and then of course with Maggie, she went from being an empath to now be kind of force pushing and forcing premonitions to now she can just control your moods.
Yeah.
Like she's literally she is still very much a mind witch.
Yeah.
And it's not fair that the time witch of the group is Human Torch and Elsa. I'm just throwing it out there. It doesn't make any sense. It's like they were like, what can we do?
I don't mind the fire and the ice, but I think force fields would be the thing. I feel like that would clinch her character. Give her fire and ice, give her force fields as well, and then bam. And it could be even part of the matter manipulation. Like, I'm messing with the molecules in the air to make force fields. Like, whatever. Like, do whatever you want to do. But make it so that she starts making protection fields and that becomes her thing.
Yeah, see, here we go, right here. Ray Alexander starts off by saying it was like a green energy she used to immobilize them. Exactly. It was green or yellowish tint in that club. I'd never seen anything like that. And that was definitely, she even looked confused. She's like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So they gave her that. But Mel kind of got shafted. I mean, she really is the Dan Brady of the show. She really is.
You are correct. You are correct.
It's so sad.
She can't have love. She can't have power. She can't have nothing. She can't even have sisterhood because Macy don't like her. She can't have a dad because Ray doesn't want her. It's like, she can't have nothing.
Didn't get to finish baking those cookies when she was happy.
Seriously.
She have nothing.
Just zap her with some like high. Just make her high all the time. And it'll be a better life for her.
It will. But yeah, so we have went over a little bit. We've went over like what 25 minutes, but we did this because we were a little late, guys. And I'm sorry. Sorry. You know,
I had a parent-teacher meeting. That was my fault, really. Is that
and then also me and Eloy normally talk for at least 15-20 minutes beforehand. The snow and the water situation here is not good. So I'm lucky to have power, but my water, like, it streams and then it blasts in the sink and it streams and it drops. It's so inconsistent. It is driving me insane. And it's all cold. There's no hot water.
I felt bad this morning. Because I was reading stories like, and some of my family lives over in Texas, and they're like, they kept losing power, and it's cold as balls over there and all that stuff. And I woke up and I'm like, it's 72 degrees. I can wear shorts today. It's great in Florida. So I felt kind of guilty, but also there's a reason why I live in Florida. So
yeah, the only thing that scares me about Florida are sinkholes. I'm scared that if I go, I'll just sink, and then. That's literally, I mean, everything else is cool. That, and my friend of mine who lives in Orlando left his door open, and he says a little gator came in. He went and walked into his bathroom, and it was just sitting there looking at him. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah. Add to the list of gators and sinkholes, also hurricanes, and we're also the lightning capital. We get some of the worst storms here. But it also means that on a day where so many people are just freezing their butts off, we get 72-degree weather. So
yeah, well, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, 901, and we don't get snow at all, and it's been snowing for 4 days, and the city does not know what to do. We do not have enough snow truck. I think we probably have 2 in the entire city because we don't get snow.
You're right.
So no one's doing anything about the ice. They're not de-icing anything.
Was 901? Is that your area code?
That's my area code.
You're repping to 901? 901? What?
Yo, you're messing 901. But now we are a blue dot in a red state, so I got to make sure you guys know I'm in Memphis.
Yeah, I'm in Tampa, which is also blue dot. I'm one of 3 blue dots in Florida. So
I will tell you, there are a lot of idiots down here. My running joke for the week is when COVID that is killing everybody is going, we still go out to restaurants without a mask, but we have one snowflake underground, the entire city shutting down. We're not doing nothing. You want to go to the grocery store 2.5 hours. Get grabbing because you ain't getting it here. I'm like,
exactly.
They literally went on that. They put themselves on a state of emergency before, literally our government put us on a state of emergency. So that should tell you what I'm living with. But, but yes. And Florida is blamed for every stupidity and bad decisions Americans make. So I kind of feel bad for Eloy. No, Madness, that is Tennessee. Did you not watch the Capitol? What happened with the Capitol and the fact that our representatives got up there talking smack, saying crap like, "Oh, well, I didn't feel like I was in danger at all. Go home."
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, though. Tampa is the punchline to a lot of jokes. Is you say like blah 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 blah, stupid thing, Tampa, and then everybody laughs, and I find it funny too because I live here. There are some dumb people here, so it is funny. Yeah. I like to think I'm not one of them.
I can't say I've ever heard of the Tampa stereotype. I will say if you look up Memphis, everyone thinks we're killing each other, and it's actually not.
Oh, we just have strip clubs. We're just strip clubs and football here. That's all we do.
We have nothing. No, I did not see. I'm sorry, Nyleave or Marie, Evelyn. I did not see your comment about your name. So can you repost it? Because if I go try,
it says yes, it is correct, but she changed it legally.
Oh, so I'll give you guys a little insider stuff with me. My middle name was Maria, and I changed it, legally to my first name. Maria was not my first name. My first name was Makisha, Makeisha. And the reason that I changed my name from Makisha, which is a pretty name, is because everybody puts an R in it. So they say Markeisha. Oh. It drove me nuts. So if you want an MAR, my name is Maria. But I kind of messed myself up because now everyone thinks I'm Hispanic. And they won't believe me when I say that I'm not. I've tried.
As somebody whose name is Eloy, I am very used to having people add an R into my name, and they call me Elroy. And I'm like, actually, there's no R. It's Eloy. So
I don't understand this at all, Eloy. I'm going to try not to call you Elroy now, but because I swear to you, I even went out of town. I went to Hawaii, and people were still trying to pronounce my name as Makisha.
Wow.
Where is this coming from? Where do you see this R? I need to know because I did not realize there was one there. So
yeah.
So now everybody in this live chat and everyone who watches this video knows my deep, dirty secret now that Maria used to be my middle name and I legally changed it. And so now my middle name is Amelia. And I picked Amelia because of Amelia Pond from Doctor Who.
There you go.
I love Amy Pond.
That's cute.
So there you go. But yeah, and Eloy is pretty distinct name too. It is. He's a very pretty distinct guy. But I'm going to let him go hang out with his wife. I'm going to go hang out with mine, and we're going to have a great evening. You guys are awesome, though. Seriously, please leave comments below because we will answer them. And I will send this video to Eloy so he can post it on his channel.
So everybody who is here watching, thank you. Go over and hit like and leave a comment whenever I post it on my channel as well. I'm also going to be back with WandaVision. I got some new thoughts on WandaVision, obviously, after it drops tomorrow. And I have a Flash video coming. I have another Buffy video coming. I'm thinking that I'm going to have to address the Buffy stuff happening right now. So I'm probably going to end up making a video about that.
Yeah, stuff. I need to talk to you about Buffy. I'm going to have my WandaVision video up tomorrow too. So it will be, I think me and you have a lot of similar thoughts on WandaVision, but
so we will see you guys then tomorrow then.
We will. We will. So yeah, guys. And also again, Black Lightning will be out tomorrow morning. Unless it rains or my power goes out. I can't control what's happening. So if the power goes out in the morning, then I'm sorry. You know what happened. I don't have power, but unless, if it doesn't happen, everything should be on schedule. Then I will have it up hopefully by 11 a.m. But we'll see, Central Standard Time. But we love you guys. Have a very good night. It is dinner time. And we will try and do another charm video. Hopefully we'll get that Power of 3 thing going on. That would be awesome.
That actually would be cool. We're gonna talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. But you have a good night, guys. Bye.